I'm on my way to pick up Levi's jackets fabric. I can't wait to check it out in person. I've been waiting a couple weeks for it. Just cleared from customs today. So I'm off to get it. Tap. Oke, terima kasih. Hello. All right, it's time to unbox Levi's jackets fabric. Let's check it out. So we've got here fabric samples. Let's look at that first. Ooh, look at that, cashmere. Cashmere. Ooh, that feels nice. What is that? Oh yeah. So what I've got here is some 330 GSM organic certified Australian merino wool. Wow, customs really inspected this. They actually opened the fabric. Wow, actually opened it. Crazy. Oh, they think I'm hiding something. Holy crap. That is incredible. Wow, seriously. That is amazing. Not just saying that, that's thick. It's very, very soft. Wool, sometimes if it's like lower grade, can be kind of scratchy, right? That's not scratchy at all. That is premium. Incredible. I should have got more of this. Wow, that's gorgeous. Very, very, very nice stuff. This is gonna make an absolutely incredible jacket. Wow. I'm very, very, very impressed with the feeling. This. Wow, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Oh yeah, it's got that kind of characteristic wool springiness on kind of one side. Yeah, wow, that's incredible. He is going to be very, very, very happy. Let's talk about why I chose this fabric. So this is merino wool. Wool has been known for its properties for a very, very long time. It's in fact a performance fabric. When I first started getting into clothing design and making stuff for myself, I used a lot of like highly technical modern materials and things that are essentially made out of plastic. And through my testing over the years, I've just found that aside from, too much exposure to plastics just being bad for you, also bad for the environment, that those types of fabrics, no matter how well engineered they are, have never been able to match up to what nature can do. And like merino wool is like a fantastic example of that. And so that's why I've switched all of my clothing to natural fabrics. In Canada, I would say probably 95, if not actually 100% of my clothing is actually made from some type of wool, usually either merino wool or cashmere. And it's because it functions so well in a variety of situations. For example, number one is it's antibacterial, right, or bacteriostatic. So bacteria doesn't tend to grow in it or cannot grow in it, and so that means that things that you're wearing don't really ever stink, right? Because, like, for example, if you sweat in something, it's not your sweat that makes something stink. It's the bacteria that multiplies. If you're wearing something that's essentially made from plastic, the bacteria multiplies a lot more in plastic for whatever reason, and so you get like a lot of kind of stuff that you can't really wear very far, right? And of course, you've got also limitations in terms of things like fire. If you like to do any type of camping, go have campfires. I loved camping when I was living in Canada. And when you're camping, obviously with campfires, you got kind of stray sparks. If you're wearing plastic, anything is going to melt, right? Another reason, this is absolutely huge, is temperature regulation. Especially with merino wool, even compared to other normal types of wool, it's extremely good at regulating your temperature. And that means that if you're hot, it'll cool you down. If you're cold, it'll keep you warm. Now, if you're standing around doing nothing in absolute super cold temperatures, wool is usually, I wouldn't say it's the right choice. Maybe some layers of wool, sure, but as an outer layer, I wouldn't say that's necessarily the right choice. Usually if it's just really, really cold and you're not doing any type of movement, something like down will be better. Unless it's going to rain, right? Because when down gets soaked, it loses its heat retention ability. And that's the special thing about merino wool, is that when you get wet, you actually will still continue to stay warm, right? One of the companies that I really admire and appreciate is called Weather Wool. They're based in the United States. The owner of Weather Wool, Ralph, he has a video of him wearing a set of one of his garments, so merino wool pants and merino wool jacket, and he walks into like a frozen river and walks out and just dries off. And I think it must be, at least in Celsius, at least 0 degrees. There's like, you can check out that video on YouTube. So it's in like the dead of winter, right? And that would be impossible to do and dangerous to do with another type of fiber, such as cotton. If you're in a situation where you get drenched and it's at all cold and you're wearing cotton, you better get out of those garments right away, dry off. Otherwise, you're going to risk hypothermia. Something like this is more than just clothing. Essentially, it's kit, right? It's a tool for you to survive and endure your environment, whatever that is. And merino wool has that flexibility. Another attribute is moisture wicking. Your sweat is going to actually get pulled from your skin into the surface of the fabric and then evaporate. This is why if you're building a system for dressing in kind of colder temperatures or cold and wet temperatures, it's important to wear wool all the way through, especially as you're close to skin layers. If you wear something like cotton and then wool on top, it's okay, but ultimately you're going to end up feeling cold, because if you either sweat or you get wet on the inside, cotton has much less of an ability to wick moisture, and you'll end up And not only that, but with cotton, just the way that it touches your skin when it's wet, it's going to make you feel a lot colder. So it sort of defeats the purpose, right? If you're designing a system for cold weather, it's going to be wool all the way, right? One of my students was a former mountaineering guide. He's retired now. Lovely guy, Lyle. He would lead people through the Himalayas, and his top choice, always wool, right? He said he tried all the plastic stuff. And I've never done anything like that. I've never done an expedition or something like that. What he says is no plastic stuff, all wool. And that should tell you a lot, right? That's a guy that's literally survived avalanches, right? And that's kind of the ethos of the clothing that I make, is I want to make stuff that performs for the environment that you're in. This specific fabric is for Levi's jacket. He mentioned that he will be traveling to either Switzerland or Sweden. I can't remember the one. I always get them mixed up. But I checked out the climate there, and yeah, it's certainly a bit colder and also has some humidity, maybe more than what he's used to. And this thing is going to absolutely perform. I can't wait to see how it sews up into a jacket. It's a bit thick. Wool is also very compressible, so potentially I'm hoping we don't run into sewing issues. I think we'll be okay. So that's a little bit about the properties of merino wool and why I like it. I'll add one more thing. Why merino wool is expensive and why it's preferable compared to, say, like kind of regular wool, right? Wool has, if you look kind of, I don't know if microscopically, but if you kind of zoom in on wool, each fiber has little scales on it, right? And that contributes to a feeling of kind of roughness against your skin. So that's not particularly ideal. It's scratchy, itchy. A lot of people don't like it, and that's very understandable. Merino wool's fibers are much finer. They measure it in microns, and so the microns of merino wool, the thickness of the fiber, is significantly less than normal wool, and that makes it a lot less scratchy. This fabric is 21 micron, right? It's not scratchy or itchy at all. So it retains 100% of that wool performance without having any of the drawbacks. Wool is also a very tough fiber. It's quite strong, right? It's not easy to be damaged, though it does depend on the way that it's woven. This type of weave, I forget what it's called, but it reminds me of a campfire blanket, like a Melton wool type of construction. Could be wrong, but that's, I've had a few of those, and that's what this looks like to me. Let's do the ultimate test to see whether this is actual real wool and to check the quality. I have been burned many times from not doing this test, so I always do this test when it comes to wool. A lot of stuff being sold out there as pure wool is actually mixed with synthetics. Here's how you tell. You grab a fiber, and what you want to do is grab a lighter, and you want to burn it. Okay. Now, if it's plastic, it's going to, or if it contains plastic, and to the degree of plastic that it contains, it's going to either melt and form like a hard plastic ball, which would indicate that this is not a nice wool, or it's going to kind of just burn up really fast and turn into ash, right? And if it turns into ash completely, that's 100% wool, which this should, as this wool has certifications and it's from a very reputable manufacturer and is very expensive. So let's find out. Oh yeah. My friends, that is absolutely 100% wool. right? Let's just keep burning it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we end up with anything, any kind of plastic. Oh yeah, now I'm smelling it. Wool smells like burnt hair. So that's a huge thing. If it smells like plastic, it's probably plastic, right? That's just burning. Oh yeah, see, you look at that when I rub it on my finger, it's gone, right? That's, right, like there's nothing left. I mean, I can't burn this tiny piece, but yeah, you can see on my fingers, that's just ash, right? So this has been certified now by me as extremely high quality, 100% wool. Yep, definitely smells like burnt hair. This is going to make an incredible jacket with all the properties of merino wool. All right, that's it for this video. Hope you got some insight about wool and its properties. See you next time for Levi's Jacket, episode 4.